What's up, everyone? This is Goldilocks, former TNA backstage interviewer, manager, and you're listening to TNA Cross the Line podcast. Thanks for being here.
TNA Wrestling, Cross the Line.
And we're back with episode 251 of the TNA Crossline Podcast. I'm Bob Colling Jr. With me, as always, is Dallas Gridley. In Dallas, last week, we witnessed new tag team champions. That's right. The Border Brawl took place. LAX defeated Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles to become the new NWA tag team champions. But this week, here on August 31st, 2006, we have another featured match that was actually promoted last week as well. And it's going to be probably pretty violent and bloody, which is what we like here on the TNA Crossline Podcast. 10,000 Thumbtacks. Brother Runt taking on Abyss, which has turned into a pretty much a blood grudge feud. So Dallas, you've said several times that you can definitely tell when there's 10,000 tags and when there's not. Are you confident that you'll be able to tell this week as well?
That's a really hard question to answer. I'm going to count. When they dump them out, I'm going to look. Now, I will point out, I think it was on our last episode. They teased a little bit, or maybe it was 2 ago. I don't know when it was. I'm losing track at this point. When he I think it was when he shoved Brother Runt's face in him. And they dumped out a very small amount of thumbtacks. Arguably the smallest bag of thumbtacks we've ever seen. And I think they did that on purpose so that when they actually dump a normal size bag out, it's like, holy crap, look at all these thumbtacks. Right. So I guess we'll find out very quick if they're bullshitting us or not.
Well, here's my next question. I've never gone to like a hardware store or something where they're like, we have 10,000 tags right here.
Okay, so there's a couple things. You can probably buy them in the hundreds.
Why? Yeah.
Or you might even be able to, especially the kind that they use in wrestling, those bullshit ones, you might be able to get a very large pack of those. Here, for fun, let me look it up.
Do you think, because like
1,000 thumbtacks.
Did they really take the time to properly have it be 10,000?
Well, that's the thing. So, okay, I just Googled on Amazon, Bob. I can order a pack of 1,000 thumbtacks, the kind they use in wrestling, for only $12. So realistically, and honestly, it doesn't look like that big of a pack. So I think there's a good chance.
Interesting.
I mean, do they probably have 5 and call it 10? Yeah, I mean, although I'm telling you, dude, looking at this is not that large of a pack. I mean, I don't know. Here, now if I type in 10,000, can you buy that many at once? Okay, stop. My search did not work when I just did that. Although
could have like a bulk store, I would imagine.
The match of 10,000 thumbtacks has popped up 3 times here. So, oh wait, look at this. No, is this real? I'm clicking it. This might be a sketchy link. AliExpress. I've never been on here before. Okay, these are not the wrestling kind. These are push pins, but it is in fact 10,000 of them for $132. So I would assume that you can get the kind that we are looking for as well. So this is very interesting. So there's a really good chance they could do it. Look, look at this face. I'm sorry. This is so much fun to look at this. This says, what does 10,000 thumbtacks in a wrestling ring look like? And this is from ICW show. And they have a garbage can. I'm watching this. Let's see. Oh, that's a lot of fucking thumbtacks. Okay. That's probably actually 10,000. So I will use this as my basis for watching today's show. That's a lot of thumbtacks. Very interesting. This is from September 9th, 2020. It looks like it's on the network if you want to watch the full thing, from Fear and Loathing. Ray and Viper.
It's ICW?
Yeah, Insane Championship Wrestling. It's Kaylee Ray and Viper.
Is on Peacock?
Yeah, you can watch it on the WWE Network.
Well, you really don't want to say Peacock, do you?
It says that on here, WWE Network, though, so I'm just repeating. Anyways, pretty interesting stuff. We will see what happens with that. But speaking of like kind of crazy stuff that happened on the show, yeah, we have new tag team champions, of course. But in the opening contest, Bob, the Paparazzi defeated the Naturals last week. They are supposed to have a title match. What are we doing?
Well, I believe that after the loss, Shane Douglas was like, "You guys don't deserve a title shot." So I'm assuming they no longer will be challenging for the tag titles anytime soon.
They're cooked, right? I mean, they're cooked. Like, what are you doing with the Naturals?
This transformation is certainly not gone in the direction that I think either one of us had hoped for.
No. And that match, by the way, went 6 minutes and 56 seconds. We also saw Abyss defeat Cassidy Riley in 52 seconds. And then the title match that Bob already mentioned, the Border Brawl, went 10 minutes and 35 seconds. And I gotta say, I don't think it was quite as violent as we were hoping. But we got new champions, so that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, because didn't like Daniels wrestled and like slacked and like
he did. Yes, he did.
I understand the whole like come as you are type of thing, but like that.
Right. I'm also flipping through some images here just to kind of get a refresh, because full transparency, we haven't recorded in like 2 weeks here or so. Christian Cage and Rhino had a confrontation, and I do remember that being like a pretty solid promo confrontation. I really enjoyed that. The thumbtack
he did what he did for Rhino.
Right. And then he bloodied Rhino up, little concerto action, all that kind of good stuff. That thumbtack thing I was mentioning actually was last week, and it was when Abyss dumped out like a small pile and started punching them in the ring, and they were all stuck in his fist, which is disgusting. So that's what happened there. And then I believe that, if I remember correctly, Jarrett wants Sting to sign the contract this week. Do you remember that? Is that accurate? Because Sting and Jarrett are doing the matchup on For Glory, of course, title versus career. But I think he wants Sting to sign it on the show.
Yeah, because I remember him saying something about like 7 days or something like that.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's a lot going on. We are on the march to Bound for Glory, and we're really only halfway there. This is the last episode of the first set of tapings. And then on our next episode, we start the second taping that will lead us right to Bound for Glory.
You're also forgetting that we have No Surrender.
Oh, wow. Wow. Holy crap. Okay, I lied. Reverse everything I just said. Yeah, we are halfway to No Surrender.
Right.
Wow. I'm just hyped for Bound for Glory, man.
Right. I know. I feel like a lot of TNA fans would be and probably don't care much about No Surrender. Because like right now, you're getting Jarrett Sting at Bound for Glory. That's probably what people care about most. I would have bagged you.
Right. Well, that covers our episode from last week. So I guess we can get right into it, Bob. Let's talk about some news and notes. And wow, I don't even know where to start. Let me see here. I'm just going to do a quick scroll, and then I'll just find where I want to start here. Let's just start with the heavy hitter. So this is some surprising news in the world of wrestling. And Bob, this is really going to just throw you off here. But in a move that took many by surprise, but in truth seemed inevitable. The wrestling career of Kurt Angle, at least as it pertains to the World Wrestling Entertainment, may be over. Now, you may be wondering, Dallas, what the heck does Kurt Angle have to do with us? Well, we're going to talk about it. Because Kurt Angle got fired. So, Kurt Angle was fired.
Kurt Angle got fired.
He did. So, Kurt Angle was fired. He's 37 at the time, by the way, which is actually kind of crazy to think about. In 2006, he's 37. But he was fired on August 25th over a series of issues, from fears that he was destroying himself to erratic behavior. While many will simplify this and say it was over problems with the painkillers or issues with management, the story is far more complex than that, and the decision was hardly spur of the moment. Now, I cut out quite a bit of this, of course, because we only care about TNA here. So if you want to check out more of this, it's in the September 4th, 2006 Wrestling Observer newsletter. But at some point, Kurt Angle's going to have to work. And so he'd likely be able to make more money in the industry than anywhere else. So All Japan he could go to, or Pro Wrestling Noah and TNA, all three of those have expressed immediate interest in Angle when the news got out. Now, none of which is the best for him right now, Dave Meltzer says. But such is the nature of the business when one is a marketable name. Now, TNA has jumped on signing nearly every wrestler WWE has dropped over drug issues. And Angle is a tons bigger name than any of them. Now, exactly how the non-compete was worded is unknown, but it is believed to be by the time that he heals from his current injuries that he could work Japan or MMA if he so chooses. So, there's that. Could we see Kurt Angle appear in TNA, Bob?
Did you have any did you have any type of reaction in 2006 to this development?
You know, I honestly can't really remember. And we'll talk about it obviously more too. Because I'm curious, like, what was the last major thing he was involved? I guess it was ECW, right? Yeah. He was like on ECW a little bit.
No, he was on it. He was like ECW. He was ECW. Not
was he champion? No, not the champion, right? Yeah. So I don't remember if I don't recall like immediately knowing. What about you?
So I remember reading it on WrestleView.com, and because I was not an Observer guy, I never went to the website. I mean, I knew who Meltzer was, but I never once checked out the newsletter. I didn't even know what that was. I mean, I think I had heard of it, but I didn't know what it was. But I would see his news like on, obviously WrestleView would use it or whatever, and I saw it. Kurt Angle was released or whatever, and I never once thought he'd go to the TNA.
Well, I think why would you think that,
One time. I do remember thinking if he went to Ring of Honor, that shit would be bonkers, because he's a work rate guy. There is an incredible amount of talent in Ring of Honor. But then I was also like, he would stick out like a sore thumb there. Because it's Kurt Angle. And like all these they're good wrestlers and stuff, but I mean, who could he lose to? That's a Ring of Honor regular, and you wouldn't be like, eye roll. I did not think he'd ever go to TNA. I thought he'd be a Japan guy.
Right.
And I know he had wanted, I remember, he wanted to do movies and shit, so I figured he'd do that. And then just end up back in WWE. In a couple of years or whatever.
I was muted.
That's what
I agree with you. We will have further developments on this next week, and I think there's some interesting stuff. So hang tight onto that. But would
you say Kurt Angle is a bit, especially in 2006? Kurt Angle's a bigger name than Sting, right?
In 2006, I mean, probably yeah.
I would have to think so.
I feel like isn't what Mania just happened in 2006. Which one was that again?
20,
22.
yeah.
Who was this match at 22?
That would have been Angle, Orton, and Mysterio.
Man, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And like the last couple of Manias before that, he still also had like banger matches. So
Yeah, because at 21 he had Shawn, and then 20 he had Eddie. 19 was Brock. So,
I mean, come on. Dude's in the prime of his career, essentially.
absolutely. Even pilled out of his mind. He is.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And I remember, well, I mean, not to, it's just fucking, it's 18 years ago. It doesn't matter. But he has said, like, he feels like his peak time, like his greatest work, isn't in a WWE ring.
Correct.
So put that into context. That's kind of nuts.
Correct. It's
And like his shit in
insane.
WWE in like 2000, 2001, 2002. So that shit is fucking good as fuck. And he's like, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Check out my other shit. And like nobody, and he was like, but hardly anybody's seen it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's
by comparison, he's right. Yeah, like no one's
right.
Seen it.
It's wild.
I will never forget, dude. I feel like I sent you a screenshot. And I don't know if they were trolling or not, but when the TNA Facebook page would share like a Sting video or something, and somebody was like, "Sting was in TNA."
Dude, that shit is so wild.
It's what? Like, how do you not know? I think it was like right around his debut in WWE, like for Survivor Series or something.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Somebody was like, "What?"
I think Sting has yet to do his best work in TNA. I think I know you don't love Sting necessarily, but I think Sting did some good stuff in TNA.
I like Sting before he becomes Crow Sting.
Oh, so you're a Surfer guy.
Yeah, I like Surfer Sting. Crow Sting had some good matches, but they were not like Surfer Sting quality. Like I remember he had like 2 years in a row on random nitros. He had really good matches with DDP. One in 98, one in 99. Those were really good, but I've always told you, and I probably have said it on this podcast. When Triple H was doing the whole B+ player thing with Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever. I remember telling you, I was like, the ultimate B+ player is fucking Sting. Like that's just what he did. Like as soon as Hogan came around, it's like,
well, that's the problem.
Right, like he got fucking knocked down. Like he was never the guy. And then as you advance it, arguably, you would say now, like right now, he's above Christian. But if Kurt Angle comes in, Sting's getting knocked down again. Like
that's actually
he's not maintaining that top spot.
So wild to think about. Well, it's even kind of funny with Christian when you think about it. It's like, oh, Christian's here, cool, but Sting is too, and so is Jeff Jarrett and Scott
Jarrett.
I know, but you know what I mean. I know,
yeah.
but I'm just saying, like you have these big names, and then we're gonna keep piling them on. And so if Kurt Angle does, it's like, oh shoot, we got Christian. And it's like, oh, but now we got Kurt Angle. It's like, oh, remember Sting's here too.
Yeah, well, and it's funny that you mentioned Christian, and again, I think we've talked about it a little bit, but I think the argument can be that Christian kind of got railroaded.
He absolutely did.
He comes in November, and you can just tell like, the vibe just seems like, oh, it's Christian's show. Like he's gonna be the main guy, but then like in the notes, it was like, oh shit, we can get Sting.
Yeah.
Sting comes in January, and it's immediate. It's like, sure, the next month you give Christian the title, but the damage is already done because the fans want Sting.
Just because you're the champion doesn't mean you're the star of the show.
It does, exactly right. And with Christian, it feels like as if as soon as Sting was there, it was immediately like back burner. And I think as a viewer, you can pick up on that because you're just like, well, Sting's the bigger name. He's gonna be doing all that stuff. And really, you look at the TV, sure, Christian had that feud with the Abyss where he almost got murdered in a swimming pool, and that was fun and stuff. But the TV was usually pretty heavy on Sting, like getting stalked, and like Jarrett and the Eric Young being like, he's not here, he's not coming back, or whatever.
Yep.
So it's kind of like he got undermined a little bit, but Christian's a better heel anyway. He wouldn't be competing with Sting in that regard because he'd be on the opposite end of the heel and babyface battle. If Kurt, if you don't know what's going on, Kurt coming in, I feel like he'd have to come in as a babyface because I feel like the crowd,
how could he not,
would just go ape shit over it. They'd be like, oh my god, Kurt Angle's here. Like I don't know if you want to necessarily boo him.
They better hurry up and get a bigger building because that studio, they're already is not letting everyone in. If they get Kurt, I don't even know. We're gonna be sitting in the sun for like 6 hours to try to get into this place.
Yeah, that's another great point. You're bringing in all these. I would imagine Kurt is making more money than Sting. So if Sting's at $500,000, like which I think was reported, Angle's not. He's coming in for more than that.
Yeah, we'll there's actually some money talk in our notes next week too. So
but
about what he was making and.
Right, but I think he'd also work more than Sting.
Yes. Well, and I think another really interesting part of this is as we inch toward the end of the year, we've already in our notes heard the talks of, well, are they going to re-sign Sting? Is Sting going to want to? Like, now you potentially bring in a guy like Kurt Angle. Do you need him? Like, does he really have that much leverage? Now, do I think that Dixie Carter and Jeff Jarrett will think so? Yes. They absolutely are like, yeah, we need Sting. But it's that imbalance of like, well, if you bring in another big name, like, you're not the guy. Now we have this other guy that we could, focus on a lot more.
Right. But so, okay. So it's like, this is tough because let's say at Bound for Glory, Sting won the title. Right. And I feel like in TNA fashion, Sting celebrating whatever, and then Kurt Angle would come out if he were to come to TNA, and he'd be like, the stare down, and it's like, oh shit, this is where we're going.
Right.
It'd be another situation where people aren't talking about Sting winning the title; they're talking about fucking Kurt Angle showing up. And if that is kind of the approach, I mean, would Angle beat Sting within a month of being there?
Right.
The title?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think what TNA's weakness is well, you know what? I was gonna say the weakness is patience, but you could argue they've been pretty patient with Sting. I mean, he hasn't won the title and it's been 10 months. Or
that's true.
His next title chance will be 10 months. So that's, I guess, pretty good. But like Christian Cage, they went right to it. I mean, against all odds, they put the title on him.
Oh yeah, they did not.
And that arguably failed pretty bad in terms of a babyface title run. But with Kurt Angle, who I would say be automatically your best wrestler. Like probably your best performer overall. Promos and charisma, work rate, whatever, draw. I mean,
it would be a good get.
That's
for sure.
Yeah, how long could you wait before putting the title on?
They're not good at patience.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel
notoriously, still are to this day, I think sometimes very not good with patience when they want to put their title on someone. I mean, a good example, one of the more recent ones I can think of. Actually, I can think of two, honestly. The most recent was probably when they just put the title on Mustafa Ali because he's on this quote like, "I don't lose when I'm not in WWE" gimmick, and then he like lost and then immediately like just left TNA. He did well. He lost one match after he won the title, and I was told by one of my friends who's a big New Japan fan. He's supposed to be in the best of the Super Juniors, but he was like, I'm not losing right now. And they're like, well, then you can't be in it. Like, that's not how it works. Especially the best of Super Juniors where it's a point, is like you get points and stuff. It's not just an elimination tournament, even. So even if they wanted him to win, that's like just not how it works. And I also remember when the Briscoe brothers came to Impact for like 2 months, they immediately won the tag team titles. That was just that was just right before his passing. Jay Briscoe.
The Briscoe brothers won the Impact tag team title.
Mm-hmm. It was very quick.
Shit, I don't think I even knew that.
Because that was...
I know for sure I didn't know that.
And I actually think you and I went to a show, and I think on the next night...
Oh.
I think the next night is when they made their debut. I'm looking right now just to make sure I'm not...
Like Rebellion or something like that?
Yes, I think it was the Rebellion one, actually. I'm going to Jay Briscoe's here. Career. Actually, I just go to matches, because I don't think even... it was so recent. So let's see when they won it. Okay, they won it right down here. So they're at least their first match. Now, this is, of course, the taping. Oh, that's not the first match. I lied to you. This is in 22. So they came in for the Multiverse of Madness. So that's actually like a special show even. That's not even like a true Impact show, but they lost to the Good Brothers at that. They came at the end of the month to defeat Heath and Rhino. And then in the beginning of May, so May 7th, 22, they defeat Diener and Eric Young for the tag team titles. So like immediately win the titles, and then they fight them again. So that was at Under Siege is when they won the titles. Then on Impact following, I'm assuming, it's that taping the day after, they defeated them again, probably the rematch. Then on the next set of tapings, like a week later, they defeated Chris Bay and Jay White. And then they lost in a 6-man, and then they lost the titles by June 19th to the Good Brothers. So it was a very short time, but they like immediately. And then they had like another like really quick 6-man, and then they had that best 2 out of 3 falls match at Death Before Dishonor with FTR, and then that whole feud happened. So, as I mentioned, they like to pull the trigger very fast on people. And as we've talked about many times, we're surprised that even Team 3D doesn't have the tag team titles yet.
That's a good example of having patience. But the difference with Team 3D is as soon as they win the tag titles, there is nothing for them to do. Nothing.
Well, right.
Especially as a babyface team, there's
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to turn them heel.
Right.
So.
Well, as I mentioned, we will definitely be talking about Kurt Angle more, including on our next episode. I'll just tell you right now because the notes are already done. So it will be developing situation here.
And another thing too with the tag titles, AMW was so good, or is so good at their role that you don't really need to switch it. Not to say that Sting or Jarrett aren't good, but when it's Kurt fucking Angle,
that's a good point.
I mean,
that's a really good point.
A solidified WWE main eventer. That would be the type of get to really give your company momentum.
Yeah.
In terms of like.
That's a difference than Christian, who was mid-carder, or Team 3D, who weren't on TV except one time in like a year and a half or something. So it's a big deal. So
I mean, yeah, sure. Kurt was on ECW on Sci-Fi at the time, but just 4 months ago, he was in a WrestleMania title match.
Yeah, I think it still is fine. I think that's still good.
Yeah. It'd be crazy.
Well, let's move on. I have some ratings news about last week's episode, actually. And a few other couple things here. So, the August 24th episode, it did a disappointing 0.78 rating, but the number of viewers was 1 million, and the males 18 to 34 was a strong 1.47. Now, the rating itself was horrible, considering the lead-in, which was Ultimate Fighter. And the males, or sorry, I just skipped the line again. But in other numbers, tempered that a lot. So that's kind of how that happened. The real bad news is that they got almost nothing from the UFC audience from the first quarter and did a 0.88, down from the record-setting 1.31 first quarter last week. And the first quarter was the Naturals versus Paparazzi, so that does explain some of it, Dave says. It was clear it was simply UFC viewers tuning out when they saw the match, as there was no big drop that usually happens later. The Christian Rhino angle fell to a 0.79, which is far less than usual drop. The stuff on the Hebner Zbyszko Slick Johnson angle, and then Abyss versus Cassidy Riley and the Sting promo was a 0.1 or 0.71. And then LAX versus Daniels and Styles for the tag titles actually went up a little bit to a 0.74.
That surprises me.
Yeah, so unfortunately it was overall disappointing, but
I would have thought that Border Brawl would have got a bigger, like, more interest in that.
you'd think so, where the week before is when they had that, I think it was the week before where they did the brawl where everyone was bloodied and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks. Yeah, it was the week before. Yeah, so yeah, I'm surprised that didn't get more people who maybe accidentally tuned in to be like, oh, this is kind of interesting.
Because that brawl started the show.
Yeah, immediately.
Right, because we thought it was AJ and Daniels like celebrating, but it was a Jarrett celebration.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Got beat up real bad.
Next up here, AAA has actually announced the lineup for the AAA versus TNA program that they're planning on doing. I'm going to probably butcher a lot of names right here, but this is the predicted card. So, apparently, Latin Lover is coming back from his first match since he retired after tearing his triceps to team with La Parca and Octagon to take on Jeff Jarrett, Abyss, and Conan. Kind of an interesting trio there.
Well, so I think it's funny that Latin Lover retired because he tore his tricep or whatever. But couldn't he just said, "Hey, I'm injured. I can't wrestle," instead of retiring?
Well, right. Dave does say that this is actually a pretty huge deal, but it's also really interesting because apparently last week he appeared on the CMLL show, and of course they're competing companies, and yeah. Card subject to change, maybe? I don't know. Next up are some names I'm probably going to butcher, but Estrelita and Tiffany, who's going to have Cybernetico in their corner, are going to face off against Tracy Brooks and Christy Hemme, who have Muerte Cybernetica in their corner. So it's kind of a fun little women's tag match. There's some other matches that don't concern our people, so I'm not going to waste talking about those. But there is a four-way with Juventud Guerrera and Crazy Boy and Joe Leiter and AAA Psychosis. So I don't know if that's just not regular Psychosis. I think that's, so then it says versus AJ Styles and Homicide and Low Key and Ron Killings versus Chessman and Cuervo and Oz and Escoria and Abismo Negro and Electroshock and Hysteria and Charlie Manson. I don't know. The way it's written is really weird, but it sounds like a freaking crazy match. So, anyways, that is where we're at now. There is an attempt to get Samoa Joe or Christopher Daniels in on the show. I believe to replace someone here, Shocker, and Shocker is in a match, just a random match. So they're trying to get Daniels and Joe into it. I'll just tell you right now that we'll also be talking about that card again next week because I think it changes slightly.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten any recent like Juventud Guerrero trying to get into TNA because he's been trying to do that for about 3 years.
Let's see. I do have. Oh no, there's other people trying to get in. We'll talk about during the show. There always is.
The juice. The juicy juice.
This is a quick one that I think you'll elaborate more on. And I don't even have who won it anyway, so it's fine if you bring it up again. But the annual ballpark brawl took place in Buffalo at the Duntire Minor League Baseball Park. Took place on August 27th before about 700 fans. And the reason I'm calling this out is because the whole show is based on a four-way pole match with the natural title on the foul pole, with Samoa Joe taking on Christopher Daniels, Homicide, and Low Key. Yeah. And apparently, this match did what was called a TNA pay-per-view caliber match that you'd expect with these four. So that sounds like a freaking banger.
Now, that certainly wouldn't surprise me.
The match is kind of an interesting thing where it's like apparently the first 10 minutes were like a tag team match. Yeah, like Joe and Daniels like worked together and they didn't put the title up yet or something. I don't know. It was very confusing. But it sounds good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think this might be the only ballpark brawl that doesn't have like footage of it, like released.
No, of course not. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I remember reading an interview from the promoter of the ballpark brawls, and he would say like he loved doing it, but it was also like the most stressful thing he's ever done in his life.
Oh wow.
Having to coordinate and like book hotel and all this stuff. He's like, I kind of hated it, but
I got two more for you, Bob. Let me get this one out of the way. I think it's kind of a fun one. And then I have a note about Kevin Nash, about his whole issue to end us before we get into the show. So, as of August 19th, these are the total sales for TNA DVDs at retail outlets. I think this is kind of cool to see. This includes most major chains, but not Walmart, where TNA products do very well. So keep that in mind. So, the Best of the X Division Volume 1 DVD has sold 14,624 copies. The Best of AJ Styles sold 12,887. Best of Jeff Hardy sold 10,503. Best of the Bloodiest Brawls Volume 1, 9,169. Final Resolution 2005, 8,664. Destination X 2005, 7,877. Against All Odds 2005, 7,309. Then the Best of Raven DVD with 6,350. Genesis 2005 with 6,303. The Best of Christopher Daniels was at 6,235. Final Resolution 2006 with 6,182. Turning Point 2005 with 2,513. Lockdown 2006 with 2,179. And for some reason, we don't have the number for the Best of Samoa Joe DVD. And then, just to kind of piggyback off of this, for the wrestling and MMA titles on the September 2nd Billboard Magazine 20 best-selling sports DVDs for the period between August 13th and August 19th, TNA Lockdown was number 2. It's kind of cool.
I wonder what the comparison is to like WWE DVDs.
Yeah, I mean that would make that a lot more interesting, wouldn't it? To be able to see, and especially if it's not including Walmart, where they apparently do very good products, like selling. And that's where I remember buying my first TNA DVDs was at Walmart. So
I never bought mine at Walmart. I'm pretty sure I bought mine at Best Buy.
Oh, yeah. I bought my first ones at Walmart for sure. I'm sure I bought them at Best Buy too. I'm sure. It's pretty interesting. And if you're curious, what's number 1 on the list of those top selling DVDs? There, WrestleMania 22 is just before Lockdown.
Well,
and apparently, it looks like number 9 is WrestleMania 21, and it's the 66th straight week that it was in the top 20. That's insane.
For 66 weeks?
It was in the top 20 selling DVDs.
For over over a year, people were buying WrestleMania 21 that much?
Yeah, I guess so.
Holy shit.
So in the wrestling MMA titles.
So here's the funny thing about WrestleMania 21. I purposely did not get WrestleMania 21, and it's probably one of the better ones.
That's really interesting.
Take place, and my reasoning was because I knew John Cena was beating JBL, and I knew Batista was beating Triple H, and I was like, why the fuck should I spend $40 or $50, whatever it is, on this show when I already know? Like, I already know it's gonna happen. Meanwhile, at WrestleMania 20 the year before, I bought that shit, and I was like, I really hope Benoit wins. I didn't know. I was hoping. And when he fucking made Triple H tap out, I fucking marked out. I was like, holy fuck, he actually did it. But I knew. It was like Cena and Batista, of course. It's gonna be the new era. I didn't need to watch that shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I missed out on a great Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle match and whatever else.
To this day, Bob has not seen WrestleMania 21.
That's not true. I've watched it.
To this day.
I also didn't get WrestleMania 19.
Oh, I was fresh in wrestling.
A really good pay-per-view.
I don't know if I've seen that whole one through, believe it or not.
Yeah, no, you should.
I know.
I
that was like when I entered the world of wrestling when I was young, so it just never kind of happened.
Yeah. I feel like my reasoning for that was because I knew Brock was gonna beat Kurt. So I was like, why? Okay, whoop-de-doo. But again, it was like Shawn and Jericho was pretty good. And like all these other fucking matches, like Hogan and Vince is like a spectacle. I was like, fuck. Probably should have just bought it.
Yeah, you really messed up, man.
I started with 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, skipped 19, 20, skipped 21, bought 22, and then I never bought one again until the next.
I was done.
I was like, fuck, dude, and I'm checked out.
If you still had to pay $60 for them right now, I would have been not watching WrestleMania for quite some time.
Yeah, there's no way.
I'll tell you that.
They've thought about like doing that. Like
I won't do it.
You get all the other shows, but then like WrestleMania or some like the main four is like, oh yeah, it's $50. I'd be like, well, that's
the thing with me with like the AEW pay-per-views, right? Now they're starting to add a little more, and it's driving me a little crazy, to be honest. But for a while, they had 4 pay-per-views. It was like the big 4 of them, and then yes, they go like 5-6 hours, but you get your money's worth out of it. I feel like. I don't know if there's really been any that I was like, wow, I threw away $50. Or, well, we usually split it, you and I, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I don't think there really has been a time where I've been like, oh wow, that's I remember last year being more impressed with All Out than I was All In.
I think I do remember you being like that. I think because it came together. I think it came together in a way that you didn't expect it to be a good show, and then it was like, right. That ended up being pretty good.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So, yeah. Pretty good stuff. Okay, I got one final note for you about Kevin Nash, and then we can kick off the show, and I have some more fun stuff for you, too. So, we talked about Kevin Nash, his injury, how he couldn't end up wrestling at Hard Justice. So, we have more of a write-up about that now. Regarding the deal where Kevin Nash didn't wrestle Chris Sabin at Hard Justice, he apparently called Jeff Jarrett up on Saturday night and told him that he couldn't wrestle due to the injury, and when he said he accidentally put weights up on his kid's toy box and hurt his neck lifting it up. Now, despite stories that had been printed to the contrary, Nash never offered to do the match that night. Now, so there must have been notes that was like, he said, I'll still wrestle. That's not true, apparently. So he made it clear to Jarrett that he could not wrestle. It is possible as a desperation move to save the match that Jeff Jarrett offered Nash at that point that favorable job. Dave says, I doubt it, because it would defeat the entire purpose of the program, because the only people who would know that are Jarrett and Nash from their phone conversation. But the portrayal that has been made that the stupid booking committee wanted Nash to kill Sabin, and essentially Nash refused to do the match because he didn't want to bury the guy is crock. Nash did offer to do a cage match where he'd put Sabin over in September or October, but at that point, TNA had it with Nash, whose contract was expiring, and they were skeptical of the severity of the injury, and at that point felt that they'd been had, and that it's time to cut the losses. Even before the match, it was readily acknowledged everything in the angle was supposed to be accomplished backfired. Dave says, I chalk it up to an honest mistake, except that everyone who heard the storyline ahead of time knew that it would backfire. So it's not that it's hard not to feel some feelings of incompetent judgment. Now, TNA already booked Senshi versus Sabin for the title and didn't feel like changing plans. Plus, by that point, they are a strong feeling that Nash was playing games. He or the program itself, take your pick, already buried Sabin enough, and the idea of the program was Nash was supposed to make Sabin into a bona fide top babyface in the division. Everyone recognized that that wasn't happening, and the program hadn't worked any. The story that the match was booked for Nash to destroy Sabin the entire match, and that Nash would slip on a banana peel or and lose are completely made up, since the whole angle was designed for Nash to make Sabin a star. Dave says he wouldn't be surprised if Nash used the story of how they wanted to book him to slip on a banana peel as his public explanation, and probably already has, since there are negotiations for Nash to do a commercial video soon, a video interview soon, in a way that he can babyface himself. So people are talking, and he's already looking to do an interview to try to make himself look better.
Well, I like how he offered you a cage match just so that Sabin could win by escaping the cage, not actually pin Nash.
That's really funny because I did not think about that when I read it, but that is hilarious.
That would be exactly the attempt.
I
did the job. I did the job, dude.
Dude, that
Brother,
is so.
I dropped. Like,
That is
Sabin
so
escaped
funny.
the cage. Told you. I told you I'd do the job, brother.
Told you I'd put him over, brother. I told you.
It's silly.
Yeah. That is all of our pre-show notes. A lot of great conversation, and more to come during the episode.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's get into it. Let's get into the August 31st, 2006 edition of TNA Impact. The runtime is approximately 41 minutes and 56 seconds. If you want to watch along with us, head over to the TNA Plus app, where you can find it in your own personal collection. I'll count down from 3. When I say play, that is when we will start the show. So here we go. 3, 2, 1.
This is TNA. Oh, we got some new clips in there, I feel like. Oh, those are definitely new. Now we're starting off with a highlight package about Jarrett saying, my rules, my title versus your career. We just saw a Wolfpack and Surfer Sting image there.
This music has been in a lot of WWE video packages.
Has it?
Oh, yeah.
Look at the purple-yellow screen that they're doing, the screen effect. +10 years of loyal friendship down the drain.
Oh, I forgot about the concerto.
Yeah. Blooded him up, really cocky. And of course, we're showing that border brawl.
Ugh.
Oh my god, that cut on the head.
Oof. $150 Viva Raza. Oh, and we're starting off with the tag champs.
With Moody Jag.
The new tag champs.
That's right, tag team champions on their way out, coming through their own entranceway. Last week on Impact. Are we going to see him in action, or are they just doing a promo?
No, it's like a promo.
They look pretty dang good with those titles, dude.
They do. So look at the blood stated there still. So like if I'm a viewer, I'm like, wow, they haven't changed the ring in a week.
Right, yeah. You can stop a revolutionary, but you can't stop a revolution. He says that all the time, he said.
No. He's dedicated to the illegal and legal Latinos in the country. 50 million. Unfortunately, they're not watching TNA Impact because the ratings would be significantly higher.
That's a great point. Pedro Morales, Mil Mascaras, Carlos Colon, Tito Santana, Chavo Hector Mondo, and Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, of course. You know, she popped for Eddie.
Yeah, but look at him. He goes, "We don't need none of that fake applause." He cut him off immediately, which is funny because he got the cheap pop, and then he's like, "No."
Yeah.
I actually kind of like that. He just said, "We're militant thugs 24/7." That could be a good episode title if I remember it, Bob. Militant thugs 24/7. I'm writing that down.
Is it
Daniels. He's got an announcement.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, you're the champions now, but that's only temporary. Oh, they got the rematch clause. They got the title shot at No Surrender. What match best benefits us?
30-minute Iron Man.
Ultimate X.
Cage.
Oh, it's a cage. First time ever. Oh, shit, I was right. Tag Team Ultimate X for the first time ever.
So Hernandez will be taken out of that pretty easily. And then if we know anything, Homicide doesn't do great with heights, so this should be interesting.
Yeah, so you're saying that, but that Hernandez might have some good upper body strength, man.
Well, that's true. Yeah. He's not probably like a Samoa Joe. He might be actually be
right. Okay, I gotta say, Bob, didn't expect that stipulation. I was kind of just saying it more of a joke. And I definitely didn't know that was happening, so that's kind of fun.
So the first time ever a tag team Ultimate X. Interesting.
That's so interesting to me because I'll be honest with you, dude. I kind of thought recently they just did the first one, and they didn't say that, but I just assumed that it was because I don't know if I ever knew. First time ever, the match of 10,000 thumbtacks. Wow, that match graphic went quick. Hopefully they show that again later.
They love this pyro.
Dude,
they're
fucking
not afraid
blowing
of the
it
fire.
off. Who's this? We got Petey Williams. Oh, the song. Okay, he's got a logo on the back of his plain black jersey now. This is a step forward. It says CD, Canadian Destroyer. I like that they call it that sick flip pile driver.
Uh-oh.
Whoa, it's sideways.
My name is Brandon.
Oh, I don't know why I didn't recognize his theme, but yeah. It's Brent. My name is Brendan. I'm wearing black pants so I can match Petey Williams' black jersey.
He's so tiny. He looks like a kid throwing a temper tantrum.
I am very grumpy because
I don't want to go to church today.
I didn't get my applesauce with lunch.
That's right.
Hail Sabin. Bob, as these guys are coming out here, I want to let you know that the Best of the Exhibition Volume 2 4-hour DVD is coming out in October. And if you remember from that list I just told you, the Best of Exhibition Volume 1 is apparently the best-selling TNA DVD at this moment. So that should be pretty good.
I meant to even mention, I've never been a guy to buy a compilation. I always get a full show. I need a different. I can't watch 6 hours of Christopher Daniels matches.
See, it's so interesting because I did buy the comps. I like the idea of like I have all of the elimination chambers on DVD. So if I'm feeling an elimination chamber, I can just throw it on.
Well, so I get that. I'm saying one specific wrestler.
Oh, okay.
So when I got like Bret Hart's and like Brian Pillman stuff, I got that for the documentary. I didn't get that for the matches.
Jay Lethal takes out Senshi as he was coming to try to attack Sabin there. Double Irish whip, sweeps the legs of Petey Williams. Little snap there, and then a kick to the back of the head by Sabin. We're going to commercial. So I was a big documentary guy. Still am. I even recently, it's a couple of years ago now, when they first did those A&E biographies, and they were like really good.
Yeah.
They came out with them on DVD, and I was like, I gotta buy them. I love a documentary guy. So I did. But I'll go back to the TNA thing here. Best of Raven, best of Jeff Hardy, best of Sting eventually. Like, they're all guys I really liked, so it kind of works out that they're had a best of. And the TNA ones are definitely more match based. There's less documentary to them, but there's like a little bit.
Yeah. I should probably do indie notes, so that's what I'll do. Low-Key, or Senshi, has quite a bit. Back on August 11th, he wrestled Too Cold Scorpio to a 25-minute time limit draw for IWA Mid-South. It's simply the best 7. The next day on the 12th, he defeated Delirious for IWA Mid-South Scorpio Rise. August 18th, Senshi lost to Ricky Reyes for PWE's Southern Heritage Invitational Tournament. August 19th, Senshi defeated Raymond Rowe for AIW Uprise. August 25th, a 5-way dance. Low-Key and Senshi and Sanjay Dutt defeated Azrael, Frankie Kazarian, and Jay Lethal for MXW Golden Quest. And then on August 27th, in that natural heavyweight title on a foul pole, 4 corners match that you mentioned, Samoa Joe defeated Christopher Daniels, Homicide, and Senshi.
Very nice.
Yep. Chris Sabin, he lost to Shima Zion at IWC's Newville Knockout 2. And then it looks like here for the remainder of the month, he's doing a 0-1 tour. On the 24th, he lost to Sabin in a junior tournament first round match. Then he teamed with Sabin to win the 0-1 light heavyweight tag team titles by defeating Akuto Hidaka and Minoru Fajita. So he is busy doing that. And then Jay Lethal doesn't have anything new. So
wow.
But if you want, I can look. So this Ballpark Brawl 7.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit.
Oh, look at that. Sabin just launched himself off the back of Jay Lethal for that hesitation dropkick to both Senshi and Petey in the corner. That was nice.
So Samoa Joe, also on that show, defeated Steve Corino.
Oh, wow.
Monty Brown actually had an indie appearance, and he defeated Matt Morgan.
Whoa. Interesting.
Yeah. And in terms of TNA guys, that looks to be Yeah, that's about it. But I mean, there's a lot of guys on. I mean, Colt Cabana defeated Claudio Castagnoli. Brody Lee was on the show in a tag match. Teddy Hart defeated Ruckus. So yeah, there's quite a bit going on there.
Oh, Canadian Destroyer? No, Sabin. He knows how to count it. Long-term storytelling.
It's a 2-year storyline, folks.
Wait, since she's not stopping this.
Because you don't care.
Oh, shit. He just let him pin him. Sabin slammed him down with some, like, twisty move. Not the cradle shock.
No, it was like a over-the-shoulder turn, like, DDT there.
Yeah, interesting. They didn't call it a name, so. Interesting. So Sabin Lethal wins. Senshi just watched it happen. It is Senshi and Chris Sabin, though, for the X Division title and No Surrender, so. And here's a Bobby Roode promo. Again, Bob, we keep seeing these, and we don't see him.
I hope his manager is Scott D'Amore.
Who's that?
That's Pat Riley. That's Joe Torre. These are all, like, managers for sports teams.
What the fuck? He's going to do something radical. He's going outside of the box. He's going to make someone a whole lot of money. You might as well call this the Bobby Roode sweepstakes. He keeps doing, like, the money sign, dude.
Ted DiBiase.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
That's going to happen.
Look at this.
Abyss. They're going to have to pick that shit up now. Although it's on, like, a glass table, I'm assuming.
That was kind of a cool shot to, like, hype up the match. I like that.
I don't know, man. A 10,000 thumbtack match does not get me pumped up.
Here comes Showtime, Eric Young. Yeah, Bob, I hate to agree with you here, but it's kind of just, that's what Abyss does in every match, which I guess is the whole point of, hey, why is he doing thumbtacks all the time? Unless we're going to truly see a shocking amount of thumbtacks, what's the difference?
Right.
Don't fire Eric. I was going to say this after my last note, but we got talking about DVDs. Apparently, Bill Banks is going to be writing a book. As Alvarez says, add him to the list in the company who's writing a book. And here comes Shark Boy, Eric Young's opponent. That's what I'm saying. I don't know either.
Is this a singles match or a tag match?
They said opponent, I thought.
They're two good guys, though, aren't they?
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. They're both fan favorites, so. There we go, the bell has rung. This is a very random match.
Very bizarre.
Do you have any indie notes here, Bob, before I say anything else?
No, I do not.
Okay. Little handshake here to get us kicked off. I want to let you know that TNA has had open negotiations to bring in Daniel Puder this past week. Now, Puder went to a taping several months back looking for a job. We did talk about that. They are back in the mode of trying to look for new talent to bring in, going on the belief that they are getting a 2-hour show before the end of the year.
Well, I mean, you definitely remember or know about the Kurt Angle Daniel Puder incident, right?
Yes. I actually just watched it again recently for some reason.
Yeah, so, I mean, if Angle is a potential guy and there's Puder, I mean, you have to pick one.
I don't know, dude.
No.
Here's another one looking for coming in. Jake Roberts apparently met with TNA officials this past week presenting ideas for a return to wrestling. And believe it or not, Bob, so there's a secondary note here. He's not signed. but he's scheduled for a meeting to discuss ideas for a potential job here in TNA. As Eric Young just bit the butt of Shark Boy, he's kind of reversing roles there. Jake Roberts proposed an angle where they somehow find a fan in the crowd who is a crack addict, and
oh my god,
and he helps clean the fan up. And Dave says they're going to listen, but don't put any money on it happening.
How the fuck would you randomly find a crackhead?
Yeah,
a crack addict in the crowd.
Crack addiction problem, and he helps clean him up.
Oh my god. Is it like a fan where it's like quote unquote fan or an actual fan?
I'm sure. Daniel Puder. Dead Sea Drop? No, Eric Young caught himself on the rope.
You know who I could see that potentially like being?
Who's that?
Wheelbarrow neckbreaker there.
That's a 3. Eric Young gets the win.
And I don't mean this in the sense that I would think he does crack, but they would definitely insert him that way. Cassidy Riley.
Oh, wow.
Or Earl.
Earl Hebner. I mean, he's homeless. So Larry Zbyszko's watching the match, and now he's essentially here to pull Earl Hebner out of the ring. I don't like that Earl Hebner. They keep, like, in wrestling in general, they keep trying to, like, put him in storylines. And, like, he's a referee. Like, we don't have to do that. He's got something to tell the world. What could Earl Hebner possibly have to tell us, Bob? I'm addicted to crack. Jake Roberts, save me.
I'm addicted to crack, and Jake Roberts is my savior. Oh,
wait, look at the cameraman, dude. He's doing the fingers to Eric Young.
No, what he's going to do is he's going to say that Jeff Jarrett made me do it. It was all fucking his idea. Because this is
I hate that because you're so right.
They're talking about the Slammiversary screw job. This isn't even like.
Wow, I hate that.
This was months ago.
Yeah. We're seeing the Christian Sting Rhino whole highlight package here. By the way, if you're watching along, we're 19 minutes and 2 seconds into today's show.
Should have just hit him Rhino, because then you ended up getting fucking wrecked. Do what you gotta do. Damn it, coward.
If you found out that Jake Roberts was going to appear on No Surrender, would that make you buy it for $35?
No, absolutely not.
What if he took his teeth out?
No, well, I was just gonna say the day that I really questioned my wrestling fandom when Jake Roberts used his dentures on Zachary Spade III.
Unreal. We're backstage, Jeremy Borash with Christian Cage.
It's bad.
Red sweatpants.
Yeah. What a fucking 2006 looking shirt. Oh my god.
The one wing drifter.
The design on the shoulder, like nothing else.
Rhino, I had to teach him a lesson. Until the guys realized around here that I'm the biggest star in the company.
What does this say? Does that say drifter?
Yeah. Drifter. Oh, Ron Killings. He's well, I was gonna say he's still here, but it's the same taping, so of course he's still here. Way before you came to TNA, they unleashed me an opportunity, and I became a 2-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And I didn't make any excuses when I came up short. You win some, you lose some. Truth is, Christian, you ain't man enough to handle Sting. You ain't man enough to handle Rhino. You ain't man enough to handle me. Is that right? What? Did you say? I think he was talking. Was he trying to say, like, fat bastard? Is fat bastard is like that time? This time period, Austin Powers? Because he said fat bat.
That's
oh
before
shit.
406.
Well, I kind of thought that's what he's kind of referencing because that didn't make any sense to me. But anyways, we're brawling. Security pulling them apart. A Star is born October 22nd.
Star with 2 R's.
I wonder who that is.
Lady Gaga. How many times did I tell you?
That might be. It might be about 10,000 thumbtacks, Bob. They're bringing out boards of just covered in thumbtacks.
How many boards are there going to be?
I think there's about to be a bunch of them.
Probably 4.
Speaking of
5,000. Or no, because it's 10,000, so it
Right.
have to be like 2,000.
Speaking of violence, Bob, they have a return house show scheduled for November 10th in Philadelphia.
Oh.
I only got one more.
W.
Yeah, that's kind of one thing. I got one more note for you that might as well just get out of the way during this little video package here. As we're, oh yeah, that's definitely 10,000 thumbtacks. Abyss is coming out right now. We're very early to have our main event happening, but
I was going to say there's 19 and a half minutes left in the show. There's no way
we're getting a big promo at the end. I have a feeling.
Yeah, we have to do.
Well, here comes Abyss. Scott Hall, who turns 48 shortly, is back in training.
48? Whoa.
Yeah. He's back in training and claims he's looking for another comeback. Now, apparently, there was a DX versus NWO fake poster that was going around the internet at this time. But now, Hall and Sean Waltman talked over the idea of pitching it. And if it's rejected, then Hall wants to go back to TNA. He was saying that he doesn't want to go back on the road full time. So, is he going to come back?
I vaguely remember that.
Really?
Yeah, like there was an image going around suggesting that. Now, here's the thing. Because because Sean and Triple H had definitely reunited at this point.
That's probably why it was going around then.
That's what I think so.
Mm.
So you have Triple H and Sean against Hall and Nash. I mean, I would probably be interested in that.
I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, this sounds pretty cool. Runt ran out, headbutt to the gut here. Acid drop already.
No way.
You have to put your opponent directly into the tacks to win. And then look at this, Bob. There's also poles with thumbtack bags on them. And
What
Runt
the
is
fuck?
using
So
the
there's-
bag as a weapon.
So there's boards with tags, and then there's, 2 poles that have bags of tags on them?
Yeah, and you have to put your opponent in them in order to win the match. You got to go through a board.
So this is like a thumbtack table match?
Yeah.
That's how
Raven
you-
looking on from the crowd. Runt jumping off the apron to Abyss, gets slammed into the ring post. I kind of like this because there's definitely 10,000 tacks here because there's 2 bags and probably, I bet you, 2 to 4 boards. We haven't seen them all.
I'm sure it's more than 10,000.
Yeah, I think there's at least 20,000 thumbtacks in this.
I would say that it's probably 10,000 per board.
There is quite a bit there.
Wait, so
Now
now
look
there's no
at
tacks
this.
on this table though.
No, so he's gonna have to
There's
find
already
some.
a board with tacks. Why are you getting a table?
He
It
wants to
doesn't have
put that
tacks.
onto it. Abyss just jumped up on the ramp pretty quick, so I'm just pointing out that how athletic the monster really is.
Wait, so now they have the tack board.
So James Mitchell's helping a monster Abyss.
And then they're laying it
Holy
on.
crap. There is a lot on there.
Okay,
Dude, if someone
they
goes
lay-
through that, that's going to be insane.
Okay, so we went to commercial and we come back and they're still dragging the table over there. So you know that in the arena that probably took at least 10 minutes.
Well, so they put a table
Oh,
on
it's a
top of
double.
one. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, if you like this kind of violence and brutality, then you want Lockdown on DVD. Available now.
Show from April.
That's actually really funny because Lockdown's a cage match.
Right. I do have notes here for Brother Runt. Well, this one actually also pertains to Abyss, so I'll just kind of get this first one out of the way. August 19th, 10-man survival elimination. Abyss teamed up with Dave Morrell, Jack Storm, fucking Brother Runt, and Sterling James Keenan to defeat Chris Hamrick, Spud, Steve Corino, Teddy Hart, and Tracy Smothers. And then on August 25th, Papadon defeated Brother Runt and Javier for NYWC. And then, yeah, Abyss note was the one I just mentioned in that other one. So that's your ending notes for this episode.
We are going to clear up the situation about the Naturals Tag Team title shot. Oh, good to know.
Well, he just mentioned the Naturals relinquished, or Shane Douglas relinquished the title match.
That's ridiculous.
Which is a crazy thing to do.
Yeah. Brother Runt's face is over the thumbtacks right now.
Yeah.
Went for a curb stomp. Abyss stomps into him. Brother Runt kick to the gut. Acid drop. No. That's it, right? Yeah. You're telling me we don't use the tables?
That was... No way, dude. Someone's going through those tables.
They have to.
Or the boards, I mean. Whatever.
Raven took his jacket off, I'm just saying.
Raven just looks like a psycho over there.
Listen, okay, he's got quite a bit in him. I mean, it's fine, but like... Okay, here we go. We're going up to him.
I feel like getting tacks out of my arm wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, you think so.
But like, if it's in my head, that's tough. I might just leave them in there. You know, I hope I don't have a flight coming up.
Okay, it looks like Mitchell is wanting Abyss to deal out more punishment here. And so he's going to drag Brother Runt up the ramp, covered in thumbtacks. Bing, 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 bing. Dragging him by one arm. Music still playing. Dun, 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 dun. No way. Is he really going to gorilla press Brother Runt through this? Oh, shit.
No, because Raven's here.
Raven saved him. Discus clothesline. There's no way. Yeah, okay. He kicks out of it. Raven effect? No? Holy shit. He gave him a knee lift and then a
knee lift. There's no way, dude. That is crazy. Yo, what the fuck?
Why is Raven's pupils yellow?
So Raven's eyes are yellow, and that usually means alcohol abuse. So
oh my God.
Interesting character development. That was a crazy spot and not in the good sense. Raven knee lifts. What the fuck? There's people with guns?
Wait. So Raven was taking out Brother Runt, and all of a sudden we turn to the other ramp, and there's a firing squad coming out with AK-47s. What is
going on?
We are 30 minutes, 7 seconds into the show, and there's a firing squad coming out.
This is who's getting killed? Someone getting murdered tonight?
Who would have thought?
No, but that knee lift, dude, that is the weakest move you could do to cause someone to go through 2 thumbtack boards off the stage.
What is that?
He should have just done his fucking discus clothesline and knock him off and call it a day. He did a knee lift. Give me a break.
I said anything for a rematch. A definition of a good deal is when it's a win-win. There was nothing in it for me. I'll accept your offer, Jarrett.
I will put my career on the line. Do or die.
Do or die.
Come on, Sting. You can't lose.
I'm gonna go away for a while.
Oh, are we not gonna see him until fucking Bound for Glory now?
What? There's only one signature missing here, Jeff. It's not mine.
This is ridiculous.
We're gonna get an execution. Ungrateful SOBs. Not this time, Jeff. Speak of the devil, here he comes. Jeff Jarrett.
Well, is he actually coming out?
I don't know. It sounds like his
wait,
music.
I can hear the crowd chanting, so maybe he is. The way that it just is on the screen does. Oh yeah, here it comes. I cannot believe that there's a firing squad.
Dude, what in the world?
That's insane. What a crazy thing to have on your show. This is a.
Oh.
He's literally having a public execution. Got it.
My world.
September 24th is no surrender. So what? Oh, there's a noose.
Whoa.
Whoa, dude.
And there's a fucking tombstone that says R.I.P. Sting.
What?
This is absolutely insane that this was on TV.
This is fucking bizarre.
A firing squad, a noose. Oh. Whoa.
So, well, the fan threw something, but
they are escorting him out.
They are getting him out of there.
That doesn't feel like a plan to me, does it?
It has to be. There has to be a plan because he just threw. It looked like just what they normally throw in there. Yeah, it's got to be a plan.
Well, I was gonna look at my notes, but my iPad just froze. I was gonna look and see if they make a note about it. The matter at hand. Ladies and gentlemen,
this is crazy.
They publicly execute their criminals.
Is there any chance that one of these people in a mask for the firing squad is somebody that would attack Jeff Jarrett?
I mean, there's always a good chance, but they look kind of small.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't think it would be.
November 28th, 1985 to October 22nd, 2006. That's Sting's tombstone. That's so funny. I'm going to publicly execute Sting.
Right. So if tonight he's publicly executing the career, why would the tombstone read October 22nd? Because it's not October.
I don't know. I'm trying to see. Let's see if it says anything here. Holy crap. He's talking about how to hang someone, but kicking the bucket out from underneath them. Yeah. This is wild, dude.
This is all for the title? Like, what are we doing?
In like 2 months.
I know, but like this is an extreme reaction to a world title. I mean, I would react this way if it was about like my family or something, but it's just for a title belt.
Jarrett is signing it right there. You suck. You suck. Jarrett has sealed Sting's fate in Detroit, Michigan. They had Bound for Glory. Crowd is chanting wicked loud, you suck, stomping on the bleachers and shit. This is heat, brother. I don't know if you saw, Bob, but speaking of Jarrett, AEW was just filming in the UK before All In, and they apparently watched over 4 hours of wrestling, and I forgot what time it said it was. It was very late though, or something. And like Jarrett was wrestling, and the crowd was like going nuts.
Of course they were. It's
just double J. My title versus Sting career. Whoa, did you see that cut? That was weird.
A cut if I've ever seen one.
How much time do we have in this still? 4 minutes still? This will be your final... Oh! Oh no, Bob. The phone is ringing. Guess where we've seen a phone?
At the table, dude. It's the red phone.
We've been building up months.
Don's like, hello? Hello?
Hello? Is this Don West? This is Jim Cornette. They're trying to connect him to Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, dude, we can hear him in the audience already.
On the phone, Jim Cornette. Do not rain on my public execution, Jim Cornette. Water is going to be falling on it. This technology is wonderful. I'm watching the satellite feed at the TNA office. I'm going to tell you something, Jeff Jarrett. I'm sick of your conspiracies and your plots and... Oh my God, okay. Okay, Jim Cornette talks, he's so wordy.
Yeah, it is.
You say you're innocent, but you're always the one that's bitter and crookedness that goes on. Next week, they're going to put Jeff Jarrett on public trial. National TV. Weeks ago, you said you would take a polygraph. Well, we're going to do it. Right here on TNA Impact. Wipe that old crap look off your face. Who's got a deal for him? If you pass the test, you get the same opportunity as Sting. You can take time off. You can train. You don't have to step foot in a TNA ring until Bound for Glory. But if you fail at any part, if they catch you in a lie about your involvement into all this stuff, he's going to give the fans a chance to get even with him personally. Jeff, I promise you this. I will make your life hell. He shushes the crowd. You fear Sting more in the ring or the fans on the outside? I see where this is going.
A lie detector test.
Jeff Jarrett steps up on the table, slips it. I'm not taking it.
Jumps on the table and just kicks it underneath.
And it looks like we're about to go off
I'm
the air.
in control of my own execution. Screw this.
Look at this, Bob. We get a little video package to end us. What did you think about that episode of Impact?
That was all right. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a strong episode, but the closing segment was a bit,
Yeah.
I don't even know. I would say borderline uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Just because, the whole idea of firing squads in a noose. I don't know.
In a wrestling ring. Listen, TNA,
Yeah.
I know we are known for pulling guns out in front of a live crowd.
Right.
Throwback to Puppet, if you guys have listened for a long time. Wow, I'll never forget that. But I can't say I expected to see a gun again anytime soon.
I think that I'm definitely interested about the lie detector test.
Yeah, I'm curious how that's going to go.
Is he going to potentially find a way to get his way out of it?
True. He could.
So that would be
I don't know. For me, I feel like I don't think this was like a bad episode, but I don't know if it was like good either. I don't know.
I mean, okay. I am not. I've avoided doing thumbs in the middle, or a middle rating. Okay, so I think technically, if I had to choose, I'd give this a thumbs down. In terms of like this week, it was good, but it did get me interested for next week.
So you're giving in and you're doing a thumbs in the middle.
No, I'm giving it a thumbs down.
What?
Technically,
Bob.
because like this week wasn't like I wasn't enthralled by it. It wasn't like really good.
Oh my god, here he goes.
But next week, the lie detector test, that could be intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give this one a thumbs in the middle. So of course that will round it down because of Bob. But I say that because I think if we had like a really solid match, maybe I would have been swayed in a different direction.
Right.
And then
tag match was all right, but
well, yeah, it was all right, but like it was like there wasn't like a purpose to it, so it was just kind of like there for me. It was fine. But I don't know. I'm interested about the lie detector thing, but I honestly don't know how much I really care about that. Hate to say it, but hey, maybe that'll surprise me next week, and that'll make it more fun.
Yeah. And then like Christian Ron, that probably just means we're gonna get a match with them next week. And Ron is so like there's just no momentum for him.
Well, right. So that's the part that kind of sucks, but hey, they can't all be winners. We were on a streak again for quite some time here. Since Bob hasn't set a thumbs down since May 25th for an Impact show. So we were on quite the streak, but all good things must come to an end.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just the way it be, though, man. And that's okay. This is the first time I said in the middle since that same exact show that you gave it a thumbs down. So, not too bad.
Not bad.
No, yeah.
Yeah, you haven't had a thumbs down since July 2002. I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm gonna look at that right now and fucking prove you wrong. Oh wait, hold on. Oh wow. We can't call. Or do we count pay-per-views?
Well, I think we're talking about just impacts right now.
Oh, if we're talking impacts, I've never given an impact a thumbs down. To be fair, you've only done a few.
I know, but at least I'm like,
We disagreed on one. Every time I've given it in the middle, you've almost said down, but there's one of them that I give it up and you give it down, which is pretty rare. That doesn't usually happen. But I did give Sacrifice a thumbs down.
Yeah, you did.
But before that, it was pay-per-view number 89 in 2004. So,
Two fucking years.
I've just been enjoying what we're watching. What can I say?
That's pretty good. All right. Well, next week's show, for what we really know for September 7th, well, nothing match-wise, but it's the Jeff Jarrett lie detector test.
Are we assuming that Christian Cage and Killings is next week, or are they just kind of teasing that for the future?
I mean, I guess we could. It hasn't been announced as such. I mean, we could.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So, it's definitely a TV match, and there's no way that they're keeping Rhino off TV till Bound for Glory, and then that is like a no surrender match as Christian and Ron. There's no way.
Whoa, that would be absolutely insane.
That would be crazy. But there's
no. I have a feeling it's gonna be a TV match in the next couple weeks. So
yeah, that's what I would have to assume. So yeah, next week, potentially Christian Cage and Ryan Killings, but for sure is going to be the Jeff Jarrett lie detector test, where if Jeff Jarrett is able to tell the truth, then he can take a break, just like Sting before Bound for Glory. So now what this technically means is he could admit to the ruse of Slammiversary and then just be off till Bound for Glory. There's no reason for him.
Oh, that's really
why
great.
Why would he lie?
And why does it matter at this point, even if he does?
Yeah, I mean, there's no like, hey, you'll be stripped of the title or something.
I feel like that's kind of hinted at, but I agree. There's not like official like.
Okay, because then if he lies, the lie detector does, and it's like, oh hey, you were in on it. Wouldn't you just be stripped of the title anyway? So either way, he would be. Why wouldn't he just be stripped of the title?
Exactly.
So if Jeff Jarrett is a smart heel, could just be like, yeah, you're damn right I did it. And I'm telling the truth.
And then he gets 3 weeks off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm off till Bound for Glory, just like Sting. There'd be no reason to lie anymore.
It's very interesting.
So there's that. All right, Dallas, you have anything else for this week's episode?
That's going to wrap it up for us, Bob. We are 3 weeks away from No Surrender, and I believe that makes it, if I'm guessing right, if I'm remembering right, I think we are about 7 away from Bound for Glory, which sounds like a ridiculous countdown, but I'm really looking forward to that show. So,
for the biggest show in TNA history, 7 weeks, it's hopefully going to be well worth it. But also, hopefully, it'll be well worth it for next week. It's the Jarrett lie detector test next week on Impact. Until then, for Dallas Gridley, I am Bob Colling Jr., and this has been the TNA Across the Line podcast.